This is the build I'm most excited for in the third edict. We're talking Mercenary, Tactician, and the brand new Mortar Totem with the cannons ready notable, because the Tactician now gets +1 totem, and we already have 3 totems that are screen clearing everything in patch 0.2.0. So with that Mortar Totem now going up to a grand total of 4, it's going to be quite nasty. And that's not the only thing that's going to be exciting about Tactician. In 0.2.0, the build looks following. You just put down your totems and everything dies, and that's about it. Then you just walk around, and in between you're just throwing out your actual grenades if you need to supplement some damage, stun things, put down some armor break, stuff like that. But you're pretty much just zooting over and have totems just take everything apart. It's beautiful. For bosses, great, because you actually never have to stand still. You can just zoom around, dodge, dive, dibble, and your totems are tearing everything apart. And with the third edict, we're getting this bad boy. We don't know which level yet. Raise a cannon totem, which uses socketed grenade skills with significantly improved cooldown recovery rate. That is a very important keyword, significantly improved cooldown recovery rate. Since if you're shooting a grenade, bop, 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 the only thing that's holding you back is the actual cooldown. And right now on my explosive grenade, with the payload gem that reduces my cooldown recovery rate by 70%, we're sitting at a 5-second cooldown, or if I remove payload at 2.94 seconds. This is how the Mortar Totem would look. You put it down and it just keeps throwing out grenades. And you can obviously put a scatter shot on it. Grenade skills have bonus projectiles. Grenades have a chance to explode twice. And we can have 4 of those. There's one problem we'll have to overcome, and we already have a solution for this. Cannons Ready says, skills used by the totem skill have 30% more skill speed. That's cool, they attack faster. But totems only use skills when you fire an attack projectile. Which means with Cannons Ready on, if I put down my totems, I will have to shoot to have them also shoot. For this, we have the perfect skill called Rapid Shot, which in its current iteration doesn't seem too hot because it needs to charge up and then it can actually go pop, 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 pop. But if you actually have it running, so 3 totems or 4 totems, and then we go for the Rapid Shot, you just shoot, 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 and your totems will blast away, or your Mortar Totems. The Rapid Shot is being massively changed though in 0.3.0. It says Rapid Shot no longer has a delay before firing bolts. Ergo, instead of putting down your totems and then waiting this second, you're right away shooting. Like right, bam! Super good. It now has 100 ammunition at all gem levels. Previously it was 50 to 87. And it has 45 maximum heat at gem levels 5 to 20. That used to be 24 maximum heat. It deals more damage and quality grants more heat. Now comes the interesting part. If you reach maximum heat, you couldn't use the skill for 10 seconds. Ergo, we're blasting away, we're building up heat, and at some point we're unable to use it further. That would stink if there wasn't the second line. Explosive grenade and cluster grenades consume 15 heat to gain 50 damage as fire damage, while incendiary shots consume 30 heat to gain 50% more ignite magnitude. We're not planning on using incendiary shot, but we're using explosive grenade like there's no tomorrow. The question is now, if an explosive grenade is slotted into the Mortar Totem, and we're putting our totems down to then start rapid shooting, and we build up heat, then in all theory, the explosive grenade that's being balled out should consistently consume my heat to gain more damage, and I can infinitely shoot until I'm out of ammo or everything is dead. Then we reload, put down new totems, rinse and repeat. And this is going to not feel clunky at all because there's no more of this rapid shot delay. So you always put them ahead of you and then you always instantly shoot and they always instantly shoot too. Win, 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 win for everyone. While they also hopefully fixed the watch how I do it node, this says allies in your presence gain added attack damage equal to 25% of your hand's weapon damage. And grenades count as an attack. Plus you have a crossbow with insane damage values. All in all, this should turn out quite amazing for the Tactician. Now let's assume for a second though the heat wouldn't work. Is this plan already doomed for failure? Absolutely not, because we also have the shock burst rounds. Shock burst rounds load 18, and this is how quick you shoot them. Then you get a reload and you keep shooting. Yeah. And that's without any gems in it, martial tempo, getting myself bonus faster reload speed, whatever. The shock burst round could even apply shock to the enemy for bonus damage. And Mortar Totem isn't the only interesting thing. We have the Ripwire Ballista now be the Artillery Ballista, and the Artillery Ballista is the Siege Ballista. The Ripwire Ballista will now fire in the sky and then come down. The same as we are already doing with the actual current Artillery Ballista that's then going to be the Siege Ballista. The more interesting part though is that Shockwave Totem, Ancestral Totem, Artillery Ballista, and Siege Ballista, the new one, now use your equipped weapon. They no longer have their own flat damage, base critical hit chance, or base attack time. My current Ballista has 221 to 331 base physical damage at gem level 25, so we're talking already with a +6 to projectile skills. If I swap over to my Desolate Crossbow, which has 544 base damage, the Artillery Ballista would only do 221 physical damage. Ergo, if I find a crossbow with a very, very high damage, right? And also the projectile skills, we should be getting an Artillery Ballista that does more damage than ever. And that's the current build, which is already crazy, which is already going strong, which now gets 1 bonus ballista on top. Instead of just having 3, we're going to have 4. And did I mention that after Cannons Ready, there is coming a new passive skill? And that passive skill is called Strategic Embankment. It says that your totems have an aura that they apply to things around them. For example, the Artillery Ballista has 40% more increased immobilization build-up, while the Siege Ballista, the one we're currently playing, gets 50% increased damage against immobilized enemies. And with the Suppressing Fire, it says projectile damage builds pin. But that is actually changed. Suppressing Fire Notable now provides 40% more immobilization buildup instead of projectile damage builds pin. And the right where we want them now has the projectile damage builds up pin. So with these 4 nodes and the totem nodes on the side, all my things would pin and my dudes would get more damage versus immobilized enemies. And if they're pinned, they're immobilized. Could potentially turn out better than using the Watch How We Do It, if Watch How We Do It even works. Or we just have our 4 Mortar Totems and they grant 15% of damage gained as extra fire damage to each other. 4 totems shooting out, well, the explosive grenades, which do fire damage, and yeah. Fun part is, if we have our Mortar Totems out and they're shooting explosive grenades, what keeps you away from just adding gas grenades to the fray? Because they're going to shoot into that and they're going to shoot explosive grenades that explode the gas grenades. And since we're in patch 0.3.0, all your grenades can now play payload. We currently have payload only on our explosive grenades, right? The explosive grenades have a 50% chance to activate a second time. Cool. But that payload can now be played on everything. We can also go our gas grenades, shoot them out, and they explode once, and then they explode another time. More gas than ever. There's more gas clouds. It's double the amount of gas clouds. So then you're throwing that in, and it's like, each gas cloud just, oh my lord, ladies and gentlemen. And not only that, the Expedite gem that makes things explode faster can also go on the gas grenades. The scatter shot that gives you bonus grenades. Hey, why not? I can have my gas grenades now also double explode and be scatter shotted. Congratulations, that's 4 gas grenades that all double erupt, while my totems are on the side just yeeting into that. Let's be real here for a second. If everything fails, you could go back to the standard grenade build that's clearing tier 16s, that's clearing the Arbiter and everything. But now, as I said, all your grenades have the insane supports. Your actual oil grenade, your gas grenade, your stun grenade. Right? My stun grenade is right now sitting at 2 supports because there wasn't really much more to put on. But hey, they can get the Expedite and they can also get the scatter shot and they can also get the payload. Yeah. And that's only the tier 1 version of this. There's still going to be a tier 3 version coming, which maybe has an insane thing like automatic reload on heavy stunning, automatic cooldown recovery on heavy stunning, just like the double barrel has. How would our Mortar Totem now look? We would put explosive grenade in. I'm also wondering if we could put more grenade skills in, because it says raise a cannon totem which uses socketed grenade skills. So if there's maybe a chance to put more than 1 skill in, I would assume you can't put more than 1 skill in. If there's only 1 skill, it is explosive grenade, expedite, scatter shot, and then also the payload. I'm not sure if we need the scatter shot, considering we have cluster bombs for the bonus projectiles. and we're going to be putting down 4 mortar totems, maybe we can forego playing the scattershot, but you definitely want the expedite for that faster detonation time, and then the payload for that double wop wop. Now the payload will have to be tested if the heavily reduced cooldown time of the mortar cannon works really well together with the payload. And most importantly, what happens if I resummon the totem? So let's assume the totem has these 4 charges, right? And then it would have the cooldown time. But what if I then just over summon, right? I summon 3 or 4, and then 1 is empty, and then I just summon another one, and another one, another one. Especially versus bosses where they're like, oh man, you know, like the boss ain't dead yet, so I just keep throwing totems at them that goes vop, 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 vop. Since if we're treating the totems like that, it might definitely be worth it to remove the scattershot and put on the martial tempo. This is all considering there's no other new support gem there, or any of the 1, 2, 3 tiered support gems turns out to be very crazy. What would we do with our rapid shot though? That converts physical to fire damage, and will definitely be able to ignite. Fiery death. Enemies ignited by supported skill have a chance to explode on death, because I will rapid shot in a direction at something, and then my totems are going to throw things out. So they're going to be explosions, and then the enemies might explode on death as well. Plus, you do obviously want to have that martial tempo on it. Then we could slap on nimble reload for supported skill, have a 60% increased crossbow reload speed to not have any downtimes. While our gas grenades on the side are also going to boast scattershot, expedite, and the payload. Not sure if they will need expedite because the gas grenade itself has a very short detonation time, right? It just goes boop and then boom. But hey, faster is faster, and I get my damage out quicker. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Do I have you convinced? No worries, this is all going to be played live on the channel, live flashed out. All the experiments are going to be made, so you have a feeling for how does this go from 1 to 90, and how does it perform in the end game. If you're not interested rather in a warrior or all the other Ascendancy changes, I got you covered. Check it out. Have a fantastic good day.